Hi, this is Rich Burgeon with VetNet. I'm here today with Martin Allenson. He is an associate professor at RIT, and Martin is one of the folks that are over there in charge of their brand new program that they have coming through. And this is going to be an actual New York State electronics assembly training program. So for those folks that have not considered taking on something a little different in their life, I just want to make sure that you understand that we're not here just to provide information for employers. We're also here to provide information on how you can improve yourself so that you can find yourself better employment. Martin, glad to have you here today.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, glad to be here.
So could you do us a favor and tell us a little bit about the program, where it takes place, some details?
Yeah,
so right on into that.
Yeah, so we teach a 3-week course to 10 individuals where they're going to learn about electronics assembly. If you have no background in it, it's not an issue, because we spend the first week just educating you on the vocabulary and what it's about, the process. We even get into some simple concepts of lean manufacturing and Six Sigma, which is maybe a little scary, but it's actually, the principles are very, very simple. And then the 2 weeks after that, you actually get very hands-on practical experience. And the goal of those 2 weeks is to get you industry-recognized certifications on inspection. There's an IPC A610 standard that you get instruction on and then tested on, as well as a J standard 001, which is a soldering standard. So you would actually do hand soldering and be evaluated for the quality of the soldering and be tested on that to get a certification too. So companies in the area are really looking for these 2 certifications. If you were to be employed by these companies, they would pay actually to get you renewals in the future, but it puts you in a really great position to have those certifications going into the interview process to say, hey, I've already been trained, I know what soldering is, and I understand the process, and it really has worked out really well in the past.
Terrific. So the licensures and the certifications that come through all of this, are they going to be issued by RIT, or are they going to be issued by the actual certification
organization? Yeah, IPC is, and actually if people are interested in the IPC organization, they can go www.ipc.org. It's a nationally, actually globally recognized organization, and the tests you take are through them. There's a company we pay to come in to actually certify you and test you and teach you. From RIT, you'll get a certificate of completion for the first week. So you'll come out of it with 3 things. You'll have a certificate of completion for the RIT portion, and then 2 certifications for those 2 standards from IPC. So it's a pretty big deal.
That's something to have on your resume, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, you described some of the companies to me when we were talking casually that might be here locally hiring due to training like this. Could you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, one we're really excited about, something new this year, and I'll mention that in a moment, but we have Redcom and L3 Harris. We have smaller companies like Vuzix, Anarin might be of interest as well. But locally, IEC is actually building a new facility by the airport here in Rochester. They used to be out in Newark, and they still are, but they're opening a brand new plant, and there's a lot of job openings for technician level people that would have these certifications we're talking about. So we're really excited about the partnership there, and we're hoping that everyone that goes through this program, it's going to end up being 2 sets of 10. So it's a 3-week and then another 3-week program, 1 in June, 1 in July, and we'll have 20 people go through the program this summer. And we're hoping that IEC is going to probably hire direct a number of those individuals, not through a temp agency or anything. They're interested in hiring the actual individual directly, which is a big deal too.
It is. And some of the pay ranges that people could expect in that profession?
Yeah, there's above minimum wage. I guess minimum wage is going up now a little bit, right? It's been in the news a lot, but I think you can expect, and I can't make any guarantees, but somewhere between $15 to $21 an hour. I think it's an entry-level position, but it's also a position where if you do well, there's opportunities for you to move around or get maybe a little bit more ownership in the process.
Build on your skill.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, can you describe some of the events that people would be going through, some of the exercises they'd be going through in the actual course itself?
Right. What's nice is RIT is known for a very practical, hands-on educational style. So as part of the course, you'd actually come to RIT campus. We have a number of labs there that you'll be able to work in. One of them is my lab, the Center for Electronics Manufacturing and Assembly, and we'll actually see some manufacturing. We're going to do some manufacturing together as a part of that first week. It's going to be really interesting time. You get to see what a factory really looks like. We build that lab to look like a small cell of what you would actually see in industry. So if you go to IEC, if you go to L3 Harris or any of these other companies, you'll feel like you've seen it before.
Right.
And then there's another laboratory where we will set up 10 hand soldering stations and eye loops and magnifying lenses and things of that nature, where the students will be able to get hands-on practical experience in that lab. We're going to do all the social distancing protocols. You know, everyone's going to have lots of space around them to do the work, and it should work out really, really well.
Great. Some of the techniques that are used in soldering are pretty varied. They're pretty technical at times. For example, I do know that there's infrared, there's hot air, and then there's hand soldering as well. Right. Are they going to have the opportunity to learn some of the even more technical types of soldering, like the infrared and the hot air as well?
Yeah, I primarily hand soldering, just with a iron, but I believe there'll be some opportunities for hot air as well. In the CEMA lab, we have some hot air rework stations that the students will be shown and presented. They can actually play around with those a little bit as well. As well, in the CEMA lab, we have a huge reflow oven. It's about 20 feet long, and it's what's used for doing mass production, high-speed manufacturing. And the students will also get an opportunity to see that machine and how it works.
And then the step before that, the pick and place.
The pick and place machine, right, and how you would load a feeder, things of that nature. Now, the individuals that we train would have an opportunity to become a line technician, where every line, it's a series of different components. Like you said, the pick and place machine, the reflow oven, there's something called a stencil printer. That individual would make sure that all those machines are getting what they need. So they are running continuously. If it needs components for the pick and place machine, you have to make sure that the components are being fed into it. If it needs solder paste for the solder paste machine, you'd be the one that would be putting solder paste in there. Basically, it's a really critical position, right? A really important job to make sure that that line is running, you know, all the time. A lot of these companies are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So there's lots of opportunity for overtime and other things of that nature.
So what kind of educational background would you need to be able to get into this program?
So we're just looking for GED or high school education. We don't need anything beyond that. No need for any college courses or anything of that nature. As long as you have those credentials. We're not even necessarily looking for people who have been in the service who may have some sort of hand soldering or electrical background. I know, like people like yourself have that background. We've had plenty of successful graduates, and we've done this twice now, that don't have that background, but they're learning very simple technical tasks that are transferable to other jobs and other places. So even if you don't have that background, I would discourage you from looking in and applying for it.
We would definitely love to have our veterans come in and see each of our employment specialists that would be of interest to this program. We'd be able to give you a little bit more detail, make sure that you get signed up properly, and then folks like Martin and Dwayne Beck, who is also part of the program over there, would be more than happy to give anybody any additional information that they're in need of. But the key is, come to the Veterans Outreach Center if you are interested in a program like this.
Yeah.
So Martin, any final finishing notes that you might want to go over?
No, I'm really looking forward to it. It's a program I've done now for 2 summers. This will be the 3rd one. I've always really enjoyed the students and teaching people a new trade, really, what it is.
I was actually part of that program last year, and I have to say the effectivity rate of how it turns out for anybody that takes the program is you are almost guaranteed to get a job. We have a number of employers here locally that definitely would love to have somebody that are educated in this program, simply because the technical equipment they use is genuinely the same type of stuff that you're going to encounter on the job. It's not like you have to relearn a process over again. You're going to go back and there may be a different brand name on it, but the techniques are exactly the same, and you will easily be able to pick up how to utilize the skills that are taught there at RIT. coming by and telling us about this.
No problem. Looking forward to it.
And I hope that you and I will be able to do this for a lot more years.
Yeah, me too.
It'd be really
Absolutely.
terrific. So this is Rich Burgeon and Martin Allenson, and we'll be happy to talk to you a little bit more about this program if you just give us a call or stop down here at the Veterans Outreach Center. Thank you and have a great day.
All right, so here we are in CEMA Lab, the Center for Electronics Manufacturing and Assembly. I'm going to take you for a quick walk through the line so you'll learn a little bit about what we'll be teaching in the class. This is a stencil printer. What this does is it takes a stencil and it transfers a pattern onto your printed circuit board. Here's our little RIT board, and if you, maybe it doesn't come across in the video, but there are little openings here that spell out RIT too. And what we're doing is we're putting solder paste onto the boards to be able to attach the components. So that's the first step in the process. If we walk down this way, this is an inspection station. We won't get into that. But this is a pick and place machine. The pick and place machine's got all the parts one after another in these little tape and reels. And there's a head in here that comes and picks up the parts and puts them onto the circuit board. So if you look in here, it presents the individual components to the head, vacuum picks them up and places them onto the board. The board would be inside there on a rail that's running through the machine. So this is what's called a pick and place machine. So now we put the solder paste on in the earlier machine, we're putting the parts on here on a pick and place machine, and then the last step in the process, if you walk down here, is a reflow oven. So the boards would go in here and they would be heated up. You have to narrow the rails here, of course, but you go through all the way down, and we open it up here for the video, but it has a series of heaters, and it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter as you walk down until you get to about here. It gets so hot that the solder actually melts, becomes a liquid. And when it becomes a liquid, it wets or makes connection between the board and the component. And before it comes out, this last maybe 5 feet at the end, cools it down again, so that by the time it comes out of the oven, the whole thing is soldered together. It's solid. A little warm to the touch, but I could pick it up and touch it, and all the parts will be soldered down. So you'll be learning about that in the class here when you take it this summer.